It's a
small.
the world
After
months. Oh.
Text.
Chemistry is working for you, and very likely Monsanto is working for you.
Hazzy on a disp.
In April of 2008, the social necrotic of intellectual property law manifested in illustratingly infelicitous fashion.
It's a misnomer. That's the first way to describe it. It is not what it appears to be. It is, in effect, a Trojan horse. Let me explain this as simply as I can.
Here's my argument against that, because that's basically saying that there's no value to the intrinsic value to the artwork. Well, if there's no intrinsic value, no one else would want it. And by virtue of the fact that they're trying to change the law so everyone can have it, that tells you that there's an intrinsic value.
Bingo.
And of course, that has value.
You've hit exactly the point we've been making over the last couple of years. They're trying to argue that unless you register the work, it proves you have no commercial interest in it, and therefore it should be public property. And my argument has been exactly what you just made, that if somebody wants to use it, it has value ipso facto. So therefore, I do have a commercial interest in it. You know, let's say you've got 1,000 pictures, 10,000 pictures you've never registered, including sketches in your sketchbook. They may never be worth anything to you, but if somebody wants it, what are you going to do? Say, oh, you can have it for free? Well, you might. You know, it's up to you to decide. But if somebody wants it and they have, and it's a, you know, it's a commercial client of some kind, well, of course you're going to ask for money. I did a book jacket for Frank Herbert, one of the Dune trilogy back in, I don't know, the 80s sometime, when it came out as a book. Mm-hmm. Well, no one's asked for to use that, you know, that picture for years. But all of a sudden somebody wanted to republish one of the Dune books, and they wanted to use it again, so suddenly it had value again. What am I going to do? Did I have to register that work because somebody might want to use it again sometime? According to the Orphan Works bill, I would have to.
what the heck is
The public domain.
Anyone?
The public domain is
a disgrace to the forces of evil.
What are you saying exactly?
A
work
In
the public domain is free for anyone
to
use.
Can you do that?
Yes, it's essential because
For culture.
created
New?
ideas by building on earlier works.
Ah, so
The public domain is
Necessary.
for a living, thriving society. The
Unfortunately.
copy.
right.
Keeps getting longer.
And there seems to be no
Limitation? How long?
copy.
Right.
Last, it's called a cruel irony. For example,
Copy.
Right.
last,
A lifetime plus 70 years.
and
For
A
company.
copy.
right. Last over.
100 years.
For their own
It's a
ends.
misnomer. That's the first way to describe it. It is not what it appears to be. It is, in effect, a Trojan horse. Let me explain this as simply as I can. Remember that it was written by a group of academic Marxists who believe that somehow authorship has been highly overvalued over the years, that the community really creates your work. Let's say you go out and draw a tree. According to the
Chemistry
academics
is
who wrote
working
this
for you.
law,
And
that
very
tree is
likely
somehow, your
Monsanto
drawing
is
of that
working
tree
for you.
is somehow it's somehow owed to all the artists who ever came before you, and so therefore it should be public property after you have the license on the current company.
Well, here,
Don't touch me.
Remember that it was written by a group of academic Marxists who believe that somehow authorship has been highly overvalued over the years, that the community really creates authorship has been highly overvalued over the years. The group of academic Marxists.
Say again, please. What's that? I've gone back to Mexico. That is your secret husband.
Every the most infinite of the world, according to Monsanto. The documentary that Americans won't ever see was discovered in the wild, as it were. The was localized by choosing the download foreign link option provided by Google.
I hereby inform you, under powers entrusted to me under Section 47, Paragraph 7 of Council Order Number 438476, that Mr. Buttle, Archibald, residing at 412 North Tower, Shangri-La Towers, has been invited to assist the Ministry of Information in certain inquiries.
And very likely
as an educational service, being as the title implied that it was not being carried, broadcast or shown in the USA, and the subject material impinges upon all citizens.
Remember that it was written by a group of academic Marxists who believed that
the word impinge has a mid-16th century origin, from Latin impingere, drive something in right, from in, into, pangere, fix, drive. The word originally meant thrust at forcibly, when, come into forcible contact, hence, encroach on, by mid-1700s, intrude on, infringe on, invade, trespass on, obtrude, cut through, interfere with, violate, horn in on.
Chemistry is working. And very likely Monsanto is working.
For their own gains.
That is specifically describing the dislocation and disenfranchisement of the average person due to enclosure of the commons. As predicted, the series was blocked at post due to a copyright violation. An attempt to provide alternate hosting was met with immediate response, expected due to the transparency of approach. Videos posted were removed within minutes of upload. If education was the goal in producing the Film Board of Canada seemed to be working against it. Over time, it should be noted that no user profile was harmed in this. The host merely made the offending bits unstreamable. This appears to be a case of copyright interfering with educational endeavors, and a fairly painless one at that. It's understandable for creators to want distributive control of the media they make, but fair use of media from all mediums should be considered a trust of the public, a given gray area where one's work enters the commons of human knowledge and truly becomes a shared resource. It isn't about piracy, and it isn't about publishing or concessionary property. It is about information, the exchange of which should be encouraged. It is about education requisite to a visual and transnational corporate body with a toxic track record, owning the nation's food supply, owning food, all food, doing no small part to the exploitation of an oxymoronic legal dysfunction known as intellectual property.
Farmers sued by Monsanto for having not respected its seed patents.
Well, the reason they do it is control. Yeah. They want to control the seed. They want to own life.
It is about enclosure, that abolition of human processes that fences, walls, divides, alienates, separates and denies the individual the commons in favor of usurping it for profit and power. That vile, arrogant tool of the developer classes that pushes and draws peasants from farm to factory to phone bank, from sharing grazing pasture to sharing mass graves, from open waters to the bellies of company crawlers. Enclosure of the land has been completed. Enclosure of the public trust has nearly been completed, with the death of analog broadcasting in 2009 being one of the last hedgerows. Think about it. Most utility resources are spoken for, fenced away from casual use as needed by individuals, and in most cases privatized with state enforcement of trespass.
It's all gone. They take it all away.
There is one commons left. Our common mind, our intellect, which is the dynamic hypernodal expression of our individual contributions to the shared folder of human knowledge and experience. Hazzy out.